What's up, people? So today we're back with another NHL video, and today I'm going to make my predictions of who I think who are gonna be like which placements the teams are gonna get from their divisions, and what I mean by that. Let's see, I got one number 1 to 8 for each division. I'm on the Pacific right now, so you can see as you can see I'm on the I'm on like the Pacific right now, and yeah, I'm gonna make predictions see who I'm gonna do is gonna be in second place and fourth and seventh place and stuff like that. So if you know what I mean. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the Pacific Division. So, in last place in the Pacific Division, I'm gonna go Anaheim. Anaheim. Alright, so I went with Anaheim in last place in the Pacific for next year of 2025, and now I just don't think they've been really all that successful. And I know San Jose's been absolutely terrible this year, but I think San Jose will do a bit better next year. And still, I don't think San Jose will do great, but I do think they'll do something that's a bit better next year in 2025. So yeah, but I just don't think Anaheim's that good, and they don't get many fans anymore because they started playing bad. When they were good, they got the fans, and then when they started playing bad, it's just their fans just stay up left because they don't care for hockey back in Anaheim. Now in second last place, I am gonna go with San Jose. Alright, now San Jose, I'm gonna expect them to do a bit better next year and do a bit better than the Ducks, but just not by much. Over the years, they've lost a lot of their group. Because obviously Joe Thornton's retired, and Brett Burns went to Carolina, and Tomas Hertl went to Vegas, and a lot of their good players are now gone. And I don't know what happened to Martin Jones, but I don't think he's on the team anymore. So yeah, I do expect them to do a bit better than Anaheim, but just not by much. Now, sixth place, I'm going to go with the Calgary Flames. Oh, whoops. Now, kind of the same as San Jose, they lost a lot of their good players. Johnny Gaudreau went to Columbus, and now Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett went to Florida. And I'm not even sure what happened to Sean Monahan, but I know he's not there anymore. And the goalies and the defensemen, and the defenseman's not the greatest. I'm sorry, neither is the goalies. The goalies aren't the greatest, and yeah. I'm eating Cheetos chips right now. Yeah, it's just I just don't think Calgary's gonna be that much better this year than they were next year than they were this year. Then for fifth place, I'm going with Seattle. Now, yeah, Seattle, I don't think they're going to do terrible, to do alright, but I still don't think they're going to be good enough next year to make it into a playoff spot next year. That's just my opinion. Alright, now in the fourth place, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Kings. No, these past 4 years, they've had better seasons than they were these last, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Those 3 seasons, they were terrible, but now they started to step up, and they're the only California team in the league that's making the playoffs. But then getting knocked out in the first round by, of course, the Oilers. And then, I don't think they're gonna make it into third place this time. But I will be honest. I will think they'll make it into a playoff spot, but second place in the wild card spot in the West. And then they might have to play and I'm predicting they might have to play the team who would be in first place in the Central, in my opinion, or the Pacific. And then in third place, I'm gonna go with Vancouver. Whoops. Yeah, no. They did absolutely amazing this season. I do even think they'll do it again next season. But not going to be making it into the first spot in their division. Not next year. I'm predicting these other two teams to be a bit better than Vancouver. You know, I do think Brock Besser and who's that other guy? TJ Miller. TJ Miller was really good. And even Sheeloves was actually a really good European goalie in the playoffs against Nashville and Edmonton when Thatcher Demko got injured. Even Demko is a really good goalie. So I think Vancouver's goalies are really good goalies in my opinion. Alright, now in second place, like always, I'm predicting Edmonton is going to make it into their second place. Again, like being second place in their division just seems to be their thing. Like every year, being second place in their division just seems to be Edmonton's thing. And I think they're gonna do it again next year in 2025. It's like still I think Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman and Draisaitl are really good, are like one of the best players in the league. And then also Cody Ceci, in my opinion. Even though I think Corey Perry's gonna be leaving Edmonton next year because he leaves his current team every year and goes on to another team since he's a free agent. But Edmonton is my favorite team right now. I think is gonna make it into second place next year, and they're in the Stanley Cup final right now against Florida, and they just beat Florida hard on Saturday night, 8-1. That was a hard beat, and some people are predicting them where it's gonna be a reverse sweep. I mean, I don't know about that, but I guess I never know to the future. Now, first place might be a surprise to some of you guys. I think it's gonna be the Vegas Golden Knights. No shit. Yeah, now Vegas kind of had an year since Mark Stone got injured, but I think they're gonna step it up this year and have a really good season. Might even make it into first place in the whole Western Conference, and then might have to face LA in the first round. Like I think now with Tomas Hertl on the team, I think that can make a good team. I don't know for sure, but I think even the team could work really good together. Like including even Mark Stone. I think Mark Stone can also have a really good really good regular season. And I'll say their goalies are really good, and their defensemen they're decent. Now let's move on to the Central. Alright, now we're gonna start with 8th place. And now I'm gonna go with the new team, the Utah Hockey Club. And yes, I think that's gonna be their name until that next year of the 2024-25 NHL season, until they find a new name in 2 years from now. So yeah. For their entrance of their season, I don't think they're gonna do good. I'm sorry, you people from Utah, but they might do good in the future. But this year, I just don't feel like this is gonna be their first year in the National Hockey League. I'm sorry. We're now in 7th place. Oh man, do I want to go? I'm trying to think. Do I want to go like Chicago or Minnesota? I think I'm gonna go with Chicago. There you go. I'm not expecting it to, like, Chicago's had some pretty bad years in a row. And I think it's gonna happen again, to be honest. Like, I'm not expecting too much. They lost Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. I'm not expecting too much from Chicago. Yeah, then also, I don't even know what to say. That's all I really gotta say. And then in 6th place, I'm gonna go with Nashville. Oh, whoops. There we go. So yeah, Nashville, I think they're gonna play good. It's just I don't know. I just don't feel like they're gonna play as good as these other teams I got in my tier. Hold on, I forgot to write Predators. Yeah, I just think the goalie's really good. The goalie is a really good goalie, but I just don't feel like the defense or the offense is just not really gonna be the greatest. I just don't think they're gonna make a playoff spot. So yeah, moving on. Now 5th place, I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild. I'm gonna expect this is gonna be maybe Marc-Andre Fleury's one of his last seasons. I mean, like, I still don't think Minnesota's gonna make it into a playoff spot next year. But I do think they'll do something. I do think they'll play good, and I do think they'll get close to a playoff spot. But close doesn't mean you're in. Like, you need to be like, I still don't think they're gonna be good enough this year to next year to be in a playoff spot. No, 4. I'm actually gonna go with the St. Louis Blues. Now, St. Louis hasn't made the playoffs in 2 years in a row now, but now I think I'm gonna expect them to do it this year. I think they're a good team, and I think they're gonna be in first place in the wild card, and then face whoever I pick and who's gonna be in first place. And yeah, I just think that's how it's gonna be. No. 3rd place, I'm sorry, but I'm going Dallas. Now, Dallas, they played really good this year, but I mean they have some good years, like they play and some years and play good and then play awesome. Some years like this year they played awesome, got 2nd place, but the next year I do think they'll play good still, just still be in 3rd place in their division and still make it into a playoff spot. And I think they'll play a bit better than St. Louis in their division. And I still think Jamie Benn and Radulov, who's the goalie, I think who I think he'll play good for the Stars. And if Radulov is staying, or if Jamie Benn is not retiring yet, then yeah, I think that Dallas will be a solid team overall. Then 2nd place, I'm gonna go with the Winnipeg Jets. Now Winnipeg has been really good this year, and I think they'll do it again next year. I think Winnipeg is just a very solid team overall, and I think they have really good players, and their goalie is awesome. I gotta say, he's hell of a fucking goalie. Hella buck. Yeah, I mean, just hell, no, he's like one of the best goalies in the NHL, maybe even the best. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, I don't know, Matthias Ullmark of Boston is really good as well. And Connor Hellebuck or Matthias Ullmark, yeah, I think are probably one of the best goalies in the NHL. And I do think they are really good. I think Nikolai Ehlers is still on the team. I like Nikolai Ehlers. I think he's solid for the Winnipeg Jets, and I think some really good players. I think and also Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck and Nikolai Ehlers, I think it can make us. I think those players are really good. It can make the full team of Winnipeg. I think it's a solid team overall. But now in 1st place, I'm going with the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, whoops! I spelled that wrong. No, I don't. No, screw it. I'm just gonna ignore it. Or maybe I have to put an N. There you go. Yeah, Colorado I just think is a really good team, and now they strong. Like, they played really good at the start of the season, and then even got into first place in their division, but then by the end, they kind of got into a losing streak and dropped down a bit, and I expected them to lose to Winnipeg in the first round, but then they managed to get past Winnipeg, but lose to Dallas in the second. But yeah, I just think Colorado is gonna be a really solid team this year. Like a whole bunch of other years, I just they have like two of the best top three of them. Like Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon are just them like kind of like probably like in the top three best hockey players right now in the entire league. Like they're such incredible players, and Cale Makar the greatest defenseman in the whole league. Like absolutely unbelievable. Then Mikko Rantanen, also incredibly good, really good players. And Alexander Georgiev, I think, is actually a really good goal. I mean, he has had some off games, but also he has some really good games. Like Alexander Georgiev, he's a decent goalie, I think. I think Colorado could be solid next year in 2025. Whoops. And now, let's go on to the Atlantic Division. Now, last place, I've actually picked... Oh, whoops, what the hell? Did I do something? Wait, hold on, I gotta fix something. Okay, now, in 8th place, I'm actually gonna go with the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, I just don't know. I'm actually expecting Buffalo to be very near the bottom, either the last place in the whole. I'm either expecting either to be the Utah Hockey Club or the Buffalo Sabres, to be honest. They've just been not very good these 10 years, and they haven't made the playoffs since 2011, and I think it's gonna happen again. I just don't think Buffalo is just the team to make the playoffs, and I just think they're going to be near the bottom of the league and then last place in their division. Yeah, I am very sorry, Buffalo fans. Hate me if you want, but I just don't think they're just going to be that solid and that great. Now, in second last place in the division, I'm going with Ottawa. Oh, whoops. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. You know, Ottawa, they haven't had very successful seasons over the past over the past 6 or 7 years. Haven't made the playoffs since 2017, I think. Yeah, something like that. They're just not. I just don't think they're gonna do it. Then they lost a lot of their good players, like Calgary and San Jose, excuse me. And are just not going to be the greatest team overall, and again gonna have another off season there, and their arena is kind of in a weird spot, and there's just they don't get that many fans just because of where their arena is in the location. And I don't know, I don't think that's probably that includes how successful the team is, but I just don't think the team is going to be very successful. Now I'm gonna go with Montreal Canadiens in 6th. And now Montreal, I think they're going to be... I am actually expecting them to do a bit better this next year than the past few years, how they play, but honestly, not really by much. I am sorry. I do have people in my family who love them. I'm sorry if you're watching this video, but I just think they're going to have another kind of off year, and they're just not really going to play all that well, not really making it into a playoff spot. And that's just my opinion. No, in 5th place, I'm actually going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, whoops, not Tampa Bat. Oh, Lightning, I gotta put Lightning. I know, they were back-to-back and incredibly good back then, but now they're just okay. And honestly, their great playoff streak is over. I'm honestly not... We're going to expect them to be in the playoffs, not next year. I'm sorry, but Tampa Bay's playoff streak is over. Like other teams are now are playing better now. Like it's over. Like like they're not as good as they were back then, and I think their playoff streak is now over. No. This was a hard decision for me to think about. Like between these two teams in the Atlantic, man. It was hard for me to pick either Detroit, Toronto, Boston. Like where do I put them in 2, 3, or 4? Like like between 2, 3, and 4 in Detroit, Detroit, Boston, Toronto. Like I had a really tough time thinking about where do I want to put those teams, and I finally thought about it. You might disagree with me. I'm in 4th place. I'm going with the Boston Bruins. I know I'm not doing this just because of my dislike for Boston. Like, and even though I put them in 4th place and I'm gonna expect them to be in 1st place in the World Cup. And even still expect them to be in the top 10 in the full league standings of the NHL. I'm still expecting them to play really good. It's just these next few teams that are coming up in this Atlantic Division, I think are gonna play them a bit better. No, in 3rd place, this might be surprising. You might disagree with me. I'm actually gonna go with. Oh, whoops. I'm actually gonna go with Detroit. Ah, come on. Now, Detroit has actually had a pretty good season this year. Like they almost made the playoffs. Like if only they can get past Washington. Like they were really close to the playoffs. They actually did play really good and actually did try really hard this year and fought really hard by the end of the season to try getting into the playoffs. And I was a bit upset that they didn't, but yeah, I am actually proud of them that they fought really hard this season and almost made it to the playoffs. And I think they'll do it again. I'm still making it to 3rd place, and even if Patrick Kane does leave, I still think other players like Dylan Larkin's gonna play very and Jake Wallman, the gritty man, Jake Wallman is gonna play really good for the Detroit Red. I just think Detroit's gonna be really solid. Even Jaden Schwartz, who just came on the team. I just think Detroit's new players that they've got. This year I think has really upgraded the team quite a bit, and I think Detroit's gonna play very good. And also why Detroit is my favorite team in the East, and I just think, and also maybe part of it is I just put them a bit higher, but most of all I just think they have become a really solid team this year and gonna be even really solid this year. I think they can make it into a playoff spot. And now in the 2nd place I'm with Toronto. Whoops. And yeah, no. I know Toronto. Yes, they're a 1st round. They always choke in the 1st round like every year, but they do have an absolutely phenomenal season. And then they mess it up in the playoffs, and I think they might do it again this year. Like they're gonna win a lot of games and do really good in the regular season and do a bit better than Detroit and yeah. And yeah, I just think they're a good team. And Austin Matthews and William Nylander and Tavares are very good players. And I really hope they honestly don't leave. I heard rumors that by some people they might leave. And honestly, I really hope they don't. Like if they stay on the team, I think Toronto is going to be a solid team this year. Like they have some of the best players in the league, but they just are not. But the team just does not really seem to be made for the playoffs for some reason. Like I predicted them to beat Boston, finally get their revenge on Boston since 1959, but still lose to Boston, man. I just don't they just not really made for the playoffs. And now, if this is how it's gonna go, 2nd place for Toronto and Detroit's gonna be in 3rd, then they would have to face Detroit. Now, would they? No, I do think they would have a good chance of beating Detroit. Oh, all right, just give me a second. I'm just talking to mom. You can let him out. You can let him out. Just open the door. Just quickly open the door. Let him out and just leave, please. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, I just think I just think maybe Detroit can have a good chance against Toronto in the playoffs just because of how advanced the team has got. Detroit has gotten. Like, their new players has really upgraded the team a lot, and I do honestly I do think Toronto and Detroit series. I think that could make a fair series battle because due to Detroit's upgraded team. And now in first place again, I'm gonna go with Florida. And now Florida, like, their fans down there in Florida, they don't care for hockey that much. The reason is the fans go to their games just because they're insanely good. And like Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett, once they came over, like, they're just they just seem to be an unstoppable team. And I might actually expect them even to be in first place in the whole league next year. And I don't even, and honestly, I'm cheering for the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final because my favorite team. But I mean, both the Oilers and the Panthers are very good teams, but next year I even think still Florida is just going to be absolutely incredible and play extremely good hockey. Sorry, I'm drinking Diet Coke as well. And they're just a really good team, and Sam Reinhart, he's also a really good player. Like, Florida just has really good players, and their goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, is just unstoppable. Like, he is... Like, he is an absolutely amazing goalie. I mean, other than on Saturday night, he got pulled. Like, honestly, I felt bad for him because he looked a bit upset on the TV. I felt bad for him, but I am at least the Oilers gotta win. And even if they do lose in Game 5, I will just go like, oh well, it was a good season for the Oilers, and I'm at least happy that they won one game in round 4, and I would be happy if they didn't get swept. Alright, but enough about that. Let's move on to our last division, the Metro. And now in last place, I'm picking it again. I'm going with Columbus. Oh, whoops. No. Again, Columbus has had some off years, dude. Like, since they lost Sergei Bobrovsky and some of their good players. Like, I don't think they just haven't been very successful, and I think it's gonna happen again. They have a bad season. I just don't think they're gonna do much. So yeah, then that's just how I feel. And then this might be a surprise to you guys, but I'm actually going with Washington Capitals in 7th place in the Metro. And now they had a good season this year, like, but next year I just there's a feeling I just have a feeling that they're not gonna be like the best in next season. Like, I don't know why, it's just my feeling, cause I do think Ovi will play good, but it's just the team in general. I just don't think they're gonna be in a playoff spot, and they're gonna play better than Columbus. At least I'm predicting, but not by much in my opinion. And yeah. 6th place, I'm actually going with Pittsburgh. And yeah, like the Tampa Bay Lightning, their amazing playoff streak is over, and I still think Sidney Crosby is a really good player. He's still playing good, but yeah, Pittsburgh has kind of had some off years these past 2 years. I mean, I wouldn't say off, kind of just years, and just like the team overall is okay, but just they're not enough in my opinion. They're not gonna do enough in my opinion to make the playoffs. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry, Penguins fans or any of these people who are watching this video. I lowered your team low in the standing. I'm sorry. Hate me if you want, but these are just my feelings, and like you can have your feelings if you want. I don't care, but you not hate me if you want. You can hate me if you want, but these are just my feelings. All right. And now number 5. Oh no, excuse me. I'm actually gonna go with no, whoops. Man, what did I want to go? What did I want to go with again? Okay, so which teams were in the Metro again? Why am I going crazy all of a sudden? Devils, New Jersey Devils. New Jersey Devils, and they didn't have the greatest season this year, and I do think they're gonna do a bit better next season, but still, I think they're gonna be kind of like Detroit this year. Like they're gonna make it close to the playoffs, but not close. But close doesn't mean you're in. Like I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna do enough to make it into the playoffs, and just yeah, and I mean they played absolutely incredible in the 2023 season, but in 2024 then they play kind of off, and I think they're gonna play okay in this season. They're gonna do just fine, but still not really a playoff spot for me in my opinion. Now, fourth place, I'm gonna go with the New York Islanders. Yep, New York. No, I don't want that blue spot. No, the Islanders they seem to make it into the playoffs every year, but barely. And I think it's gonna happen again this year. They're gonna make it into the playoffs, but barely make it into the playoffs. And I think they're gonna make it into second place in the wild card, and might have to face Florida. After the playoff. And still, Matthew Barzal, one of the best players in the league. I think he's gonna play elite for the New York Islanders, but the whole team in general, I think they're just gonna. I do think they're playing good, but still barely making it into the playoffs like every year. That just seems to be the Islanders' thing to do. And yeah. Now, third place might be a surprise to you again, but I'm going with the Broad Street Bullies, known as the Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, I know Philadelphia might be a surprise to some of you guys, but they played good next. Kind of like Detroit, they tried really, really hard to make it into the playoffs, and I think the team has gotten a bit better, and the goalie has been playing a bit better as well for the Philadelphia Flyers. And I do think they're gonna make it into third place in the Metro, and I do think they'll make it into a playoff spot and do a bit better than New York, the Islanders. But I don't think they'll do better than the Rangers. And speak of the devil, I put New York Rangers at number 2. New York Rangers. The Rangers got the President's Trophy. I expect once Carolina went out, which was the team I predicted to make it to win the Stanley Cup. I expected they were gonna make it into the playoffs because, like I said, when I was making my predictions, I felt like whoever wins the New York and Carolina series goes to the final. Once New York won, I felt like they were just going to the final. Like, New York really seemed an unstoppable team. But then then of course Florida knocked them out, and then I was like, well, I mean, I guess it's not gonna be New York this year. So yeah, New York is an insanely really good team, and have some of their best players. Adam Fox is a really good player, and also Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin, who came from Columbus. And it says Artemi Panarin left Columbus. That's why I think Columbus isn't going to do the best. And when he went to New York, and I think and one of the reasons why I think New York is not playing very good, and the Rangers are just full of Europeans, like Russians and Swedes and Slovakians. I think they're very strong. The European hockey players play elite hockey on the New York Rangers, and I think the goalie as well, the new goalie who's came on the team, I think is also a pretty good goalie overall. I think he's really good. But now first place, I'm actually gonna go Carolina. And I know I do this like every year. Like, I expect Carolina to just do good every year, but then they don't even but then some years they don't make it to first place in the Metro or just win the Stanley Cup. But for me, like when I was thinking, who do I think who's gonna make it into first place in the Metro? My heart just wanted to go for the Carolina Hurricanes. Like Carolina's just an insanely good team. Like, I mean, like from 2009 to 2018, like they were an ant team in some pieces of seasons. They just did not play good at all. But then 2019 game, they made it into the playoffs. And then these past few years, they played absolutely incredible, an outstanding, unstoppable team. And Carolina's just absolutely incredible team overall. I definitely gonna think they're gonna make it into like probably top 3 or top 2 teams in the NHL next year in 2025. And even they made it into the top 3 this year. Like Carolina is absolutely a really good team overall. And my dad's probably not gonna be happy. He does not like the Hurricanes because of what happened in 2006. But I'm sorry, but dad. But Carolina, they're just a really good team. Like Carol, I just think they're really they just had so much success over these years and are been play really good hockey. And that's just how I feel. And alright, I think that'll do for today's video. And now, and whether you agree or not, try not to post rude comments in the comment section, and you're allowed to have your own thoughts as well, and I'll have my own. And also if you really disagree with me enough, like hate me if you want. If you're a fan of the team. If you're a fan of the teams I put really low on the list of Montreal, Columbus, and you're mad at me, I've ranked them so low. Like, no, you can hate me if you want. I don't care. Hate me if you want. But yeah, I think that should do it for today's video. And I might do some, I know you guys might be getting sick of NHL related videos of me, and I might try something different pretty soon. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here. So yeah, peace and out. Dang, okay, let's try that again. My God, that was messed up. Peace and out.